Greetings, friends and supporters of the Markets program. You know, I consider myself one of the biggest fans of markets for a number of reasons. I think throughout my entire career, it's one of the best U.S. to partner projects that we've ever done. I'm sorry that I couldn't be with all of you today, but I know that you are in the room because you are a fan of markets and you believe in agriculture as the way forward like I do. I know for most of the continent, agriculture has to become the hub of what we do. And markets has really been a vehicle, I think, to show how value chain development in agriculture can be completely different. In a country that I love like Nigeria, where agriculture is fundamental to the next phase of the future, it gives me great pleasure to see programs like Markets that really has done a paradigm shift, I think, in how we all think about how agricultural development and production and agribusiness can be done.
Well, let me just first say, you know, the Bank of Industry, when I was on the ground there, was one of my most avid partners in doing a lot of things with my team and the Bank of Industry. But what this conference really shows is not just the vision of the Bank of Industry, but really the array of investment opportunities that are there in Nigeria, and that anyone that was here and missed that point really just missed out completely on what the conference was all about. You know, in terms of follow-up, you know, it's about business people talking to business people. And you know, I think that certainly you had a robust audience, you had a robust sense of presentations here, and bringing those two things together is the governors really outline their areas of opportunity. And if you're a business person and you're hearing your area of opportunity linked with a particular state, that's where you need to go next. And certainly, I think the most important thing I heard here was the commitment from the states. You know, they talked about having one-stop shopping opportunities in their states so that a potential investor doesn't get frustrated in trying to get all the licensing done and everything else.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Not good. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Okay, now I know that you're here. First of all, I want to thank you all for having me here as your 2013 Woodrow Wilson Visiting Scholar. I arrived earlier this afternoon. It's my first time in Greenville, and I'm delighted to be here for the week to really talk about a range of things. One of the things I was asked to talk about, at least for the public event this evening, was, you know, the way forward for Africa. And I thought I would set the tone by really giving you a discussion about the positives I see going on in the continent and the challenges ahead, and talk about some of solutions that might be out there. I think, you know, I'd like to start out with this phrase, and I think that Dr. Gordon really said it quite clearly, but sub-Saharan Africa today is not your mother's Africa. It is very, very different from the history and the outlines that you may have in your mind about the continent. It is a region which continues to undergo, for the most part, positive political and economic changes. Good afternoon, graduates of Robert Morris University. I know this is a proud day for all of you, your families, and your friends. Today is not like any other day, because today calls for a certain amount of reflection in both directions, where you have come from and where you are going. I had the pleasure last year to sit exactly where you are sitting today. I had the same two-directional challenge, two-directional reflection that you are experiencing right now. How you got to this moment in time, and where you're headed when you leave this great hall this afternoon. So given this reflective juxtaposition, I wanted to share with you some of the things that were on my mind on May 6, 2010, that may be on your mind today, May 6, 2011. The three word phrases
that came to mind for me when I thought about my time at RMU were richness in spirit, meaningful in action, unity of purpose. RMU, richness, meaningful, unity.
This is Dr. Robin Sanders. We are live and direct, broadcasting from ICAST News at the United Nations. This is the Out of Africa program, and with us, Ambassador Macharia Kamau, the permanent representative to the United Nations from the Republic of Kenya. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador.
Good morning to you.
This is an interesting UNGA, the 67th. The focus is peace and conflict resolution. I know that you are the permanent representative to the United Nations from the Republic of Kenya. Can you talk a little bit about the Kenyan message at this UN and what you were looking for, what your government was looking for to come out of this session of the UNGA?
Absolutely. It's good to be here with you.
Elections. And so it's really great seeing you again, great
Good
working with you
too.
again, and much success at this General Assembly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
Again, this is Dr. Robin Sanders. We are live and direct from the 67th UN General Assembly. This is the Out of Africa program on ICAST News. Thank you. In referring to an African country as the Pearl of Africa, Sir Winston Churchill set the stage for us to see each country on the continent of Africa as a pearl. And thus, as a pearl, each country is connected to each other by the continent's greatest asset, its people. ICAST News brings to you this new series, Out of Africa, which will highlight for you the range of issues facing Africa today. This is a great day, I think, for the Out of Africa program because the topics that you have brought to the table about connecting Africa policy and Africa development, I think, are really quite interesting given all that's going on today. Why don't we start with you, Dr. Mans? Tell us a little bit about AfriCare and some of the things that you see are the challenges, the good and the bad, I guess, with development and where you'd like to see development go.
Well, these are my personal comments only. I think that, I've taken my lead from the international observers that have made comments, and I do think that from knowing Nigeria's history, looking at all of the elections of the past, that this really has been a real credible, free and fair election. Certainly the points that were raised about the challenges that are there in terms of checking some of the accusations that have been made, we all agree that that has to be done. But first and foremost, we all hope that it can be done in a peaceful manner, that the violence will stop, and that people will try to find a way to address their concerns and those issues in a peaceful manner so that Nigerians can move forward. I mean, the resilience and the resolve of Nigerian people I've always believed in. And I've always talked about how committed they were to making a better future for their nation and really be an example for the sub-region and for the continent writ large.
Welcome to Insight.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
It's lovely to have you here, and this conference has a long history here, 21 years. It's very important for the Center for African Peace and Conflict Resolution. What significance is the conference to you and what you see as the dialogue between the U.S. and Africa?
Well, I think it's a wonderful conference. Actually, part of my remarks tomorrow will be about reframing the lens on Africa, because I think that a lot of the news and a lot of the perceptions here in the United States are not always that positive about a continent that has really changed over the last 15 years or so. So it really is about reframing, providing insights on what the changes are, the positive as well as the challenges. No one's underestimating that there are challenges that remain, but there are a lot of good things going on the continent. And what I plan to talk about tomorrow is really highlighting some of those positive things, not just on the economic
economic side, but certainly on the political side as well. So this conference is a wonderful scene setter for that.
How so in the reframing? Because I know you're also talking about the youth and the empowerment of the young generations. I think I saw that the average age in Nigeria is 19 years old for the population. So what is the reframing and the connection with the young people?
Well, I think there are two elements. One, you're right on the population. In fact, the term youth bulge is used quite often when looking at not just the population, the young population in Africa, but the young population writ large for a continent that is supposed to reach about 2.2 billion people in about 15 years.